This is probably not the video that you expected. I'm gonna be on the Tavarish channel less, but I really wanna explain to you guys why that is. Before I get into that and explain to you guys what is happening, I wanna give you a little bit of the story on how I became part of the Tavarish channel, as well as my background and where I come from. If you guys didn't know, I was a auto body technician for over a decade where I learned to repair heavily damaged cars. And while all of that was cool, I gained a ton of experience, I gained a ton of knowledge, as well as certifications. I was actually the third person in the state of Florida to be certified on the Corvette ZR1, the C7, and it was awesome. It was a crazy journey and it was an amazing time, but I still missed something. I wanted to share my passion for building cool cars with you guys, and I wanted to inspire you guys to get out in your garage and build something really cool, kind of like what I did here with the Evo. Every time. I love this car. A little rev maybe? Probably shouldn't rev, you know, oil's not warm yet. It was only $3 grand, it's fine. So after building a successful social media following on Instagram and getting about 90,000 followers, I decided that it was time to leave the auto body world and move into the custom world or building cars onto social media. The problem was I didn't know where I was gonna go to start. I thought maybe I could open my own business and I would be able to do stuff on the side after hours and build cool cars and start building those on my social media. The problem was when I started the business, I didn't realize how hard it was going to be. And I had a business partner and we ended up not agreeing on a few things. And unfortunately, that business didn't work. And when that business didn't work, we both lost a lot of money as well as a lot of time. And then I went back to my previous job where I ended up not staying for very long because I met somebody very special. I met my friend Derek, who I had already known for a good long time, and he introduced me to my other friend, Freddy. So like I said, this is my friend Derek, and we've known each other for what?
Quite a while.
Like
13, 14 years, something like that.
It's been a while,
Yeah.
and Derek is a really cool guy. I met him at Reed Nissan. We both were technicians there. He was a mechanic, and I was an auto body technician, obviously, because that's what we do. If you remember from before, Derek helped me build the engine on the Evo, made great power. This car is amazing, and I love driving this car. But I want to talk to Derek about how you know, you guys know how we met, how he introduced me to Freddy, and then how we got to this point right here. So one of the things that happened was we both went our separate ways from the dealership that we were working at. You started your own shop, a pretty successful performance shop, working on GTRs and like really cool stuff.
Yeah, it started out, you know, the same thing. Like I did what I like. I love it, and people know me from that. And then I just started out from that because I got kind of burnt out from the corporate type work.
It's not the easiest type of job because
it's not.
You end up doing a lot of stuff and
it just becomes too repetitive.
Yeah, that's the exact word that I was looking for, because it becomes something that it's like, it's not an experience of like a challenge, right? And I think as guys like you and I, we like challenges.
I love challenges, and it's fun to come to work and feel like you're hanging out, not working.
Yes.
It just makes the day go faster and you accomplish more.
Yes,
so,
absolutely.
Absolutely.
So the way we reconnected was kind of funny. Actually, I didn't actually see his face. I heard his voice. So in 2020, COVID, and everybody wearing masks. We were forced to wear a mask. Thankfully in Florida, we didn't have to wear them for very long.
Yeah.
But we were, what, is it downtown
Winter Garden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I heard Derek talking to one of his kids. And at the time, it had been probably, what, like 3 years since we'd seen each other?
Probably close to 3 years or so.
So in 3 years, his kids went from about this tall to like taller than me. So I didn't recognize the kids at first, and then I had to take a double look. But I heard the voice, and I knew it was Derek right away.
Yep.
And it was kind of cool. It was like we had never stopped hanging out. And I asked Derek, you know, I said, so how you been? What are you doing? And I told him about the whole endeavor on social media and the ideas that I had and that I wanted to open a business. And Derek, owning a business, I said, hey, would you mind if I come by and get some advice from you on starting a business? And he did. You actually saved me from doing something that would have been pretty bad. You know, like it's crazy how things work out, because Derek actually told me, don't open the business because there was a lot of decisions being made that were bad decisions. And I also ultimately came to the conclusion of that I really wouldn't be happy because this wasn't the pursuit that I was actually aiming for when I decided to go work on social media and build cool cars. We're always looking for projects around the shop, and it can be a little bit tiring at times because there's so many places to go to look. But using AutoBidMaster to check out any car crash auction website makes it as simple as 1, 2, 3. With AutoBidMaster, you can buy directly off of any car crash auction website, and you don't need to be a broker and you don't need to have a dealer license. They have memberships that fit any need. Even if the VIN is the only thing that's left on the car, you can still use the Clear VIN vehicle check to find out everything that has happened with that vehicle. With AutoBidMaster, they offer nationwide and international shipping off any car, even cars that look like this. The next time you're looking for a project car, go check out AutoBidMaster, use the link in the description and use my code JackBuildsIt and save $50 off of a sign-up fee or $50 off an upgraded membership. I love this car. We need to get more projects. Let's go check out AutoBidMaster right now and get ourselves another project. Come to think about it, we don't need any more projects. You guys should go out there and get a project because there's way too much stuff in the shop. So like a month passes by, Derek gives me a call and it was a, what kind of car was that?
It was an R33 GTR.
Was it a Nismo though?
Nismo.
So it had a special bumper.
It was a really nice Nismo R33.
Bayside blue.
Bayside blue. Someone's being foolish and they scuffed the bumper up, damaged it up pretty decent. So we were trying to save this bumper because it's really, really hard to get. So
they're like unobtainium. Yeah. Pretty much like every old Japanese car right now, which I'm learning. Like
absolutely.
This one and another one that's coming up soon.
Yeah.
But
so I know you work on stuff like this and you love to work on them. So I figured, hey, let me give you a ring. I give you a ring to come down and take a look at it. And
it gave me the opportunity to talk to you about business too.
Absolutely.
Which was perfect because then I came down and it's actually the person who I was going into business with came down with me and he did an amazing job painting the car. And it worked out for both of us because it gave us both the idea of the direction that we wanted to go.
Yep.
And yeah, we fixed the car.
Yeah, and came out absolutely amazing.
So the funny thing was is what happened that day is what shaped what is happening actually right now. And that is Freddy came over to your shop.
Yeah, so Freddy's a really good friend of mine for a while. Every time he shows up to his shop, he comes into our shop first and say hi, hello, sit down, talk for a couple of minutes. And then, you know, this guy's working on the car. And I was like, hey, have you ever met this guy?
Yeah.
Which is Jack. Freddy Jack. And he's like, oh, okay. And he knew Freddy a little bit.
Yeah, I'd seen his videos. I'd seen his videos before.
So yeah, we made the introduction, and then Freddy ended up bringing him over to this shop.
Yeah.
We were standing in present to give him a tour of what he does and how he do things and all the fun cars.
And at the time, the shop was totally different too.
It was completely different.
This was the workshop, and now we're standing in actually like the showroom type of shop. But I remember he brought us over here, showed us the cars. And I remember walking out thinking to myself, like, okay, the strangest thing just happened. This guy is doing exactly what I want to do. And now I have a friend who knows somebody who can give me a lot of advice.
Yeah.
And I told you, I said, I think I left that day and I told Derek, I said, if Freddy ever needs any kind of help from somebody who does body work or anything like that, I'd love to help him out. There's a lot of stuff we can do with a little bit of tools. And turns out, Derek, you know, you kept your promise. Within a month, Derek calls me and says, Jack,
I told him I'll put a good word in for him and I'll twist his arm a little bit. But no, I didn't have to twist Freddy's arm. I just tell him, hey, this guy is a great guy. He knows what he's doing. And give him a shot to work on something and see what happens.
Dude, that like changed my life. So, I mean.
Absolutely.
Love you, bro.
And that's what we do.
But
we change a lot of people's lives.
We're going to get him. We'll get him. But that was a huge moment, and that's where I met Freddy. So that's how Freddy came into the picture and how I came into the picture of the Tavarish channel. So the first thing he actually asked me to work on was this car right here. So the Ferrari ended up being a car that we did a ton of work on, which I'll show you right now, and we'll kind of talk about that So what a lot of you guys don't know is actually when I first started working together with these guys, this was actually the first car that I helped Freddy with. It was an interesting time.
It was. He got us like the first day. So it's funny because the first time I met Jack, I went by Derek's shop. I'm talking to Derek out of the blue. A guy pops out of the hood of a 350Z. And he introduced himself, and I'm like, "Oh, dude, like you do body work?" He's like, "Yeah," and he looked like he really knew what he was doing. Turns out he really knows what he was doing. So I came back to the shop and I told Freddy too, like, "Oh, there's a pretty badass body guy over there that maybe he could help us." And Freddy's like, "Oh, we're working with somebody else at that time." So I was like, "It's all right." And then happened SEMA crunch time. Is our favorite time of the year.
Favorite time of the year.
And we needed a brake caliper painted.
4 brake calipers.
Yep. And
on the car.
What did you say? How long it'll take?
30 minutes.
Yep.
It only took 30 minutes.
It did. But what he didn't tell us is it takes 8 hours to prep everything so you don't end up painting the pretty paint of the car.
So what, we started at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and we prepped everything out, we taped everything off, we covered the car, and by the time we were painting, it was midnight.
Yep, I actually have a video of how you prepped that, because it had to sit like this overnight.
If you have that video, you gotta send it to me.
I'll look for it. But no, yeah, he got us pretty good. And there was a moment when me and Freddy is sitting there, and he's like, he said 30 minutes. And it was like, it's been like 7 hours already, And then he did painted it, though. He did painted it in 30 minutes. And I mean, look.
They still look good. They still look really nice.
You gotta put a close-up. And
we'll scan it.
Yeah, he hasn't fade or anything. It looks great.
It was crazy. So, like, that was one of the coolest experiences because, we just met met, and it was like, all right, everyone's going to SEMA. Let's do this. Like, let's get this done. And we all band together, and we stayed late. And that was at the time where I still couldn't stay up past like midnight without feeling like I was about to fall on my face because these guys were used to it. I was not used to it.
We broke you in those first 2 days that you started working with us.
Dude, I barely could keep my eyes open that night.
Because you were so used on doing regular body work time where he'll come in.
Yeah, get the stuff done, go home.
And actually have time with the family. But now it's like, what's family?
Yeah, who are they? But all jokes aside, that was a crazy time. We actually did a lot of work. Freddy was here by himself. We put the glass in the 675. We did what else did we do? We painted the mirror extensions.
You've done a lot.
We painted the mesh. We installed the mesh. We painted the rear uprights. It was really cool, and it was a good time because being with you guys and hanging out, it's
always been fun.
It was fun, man. And now it's like every year when that time comes around, we know we're gonna go crazy.
I hate it. Like, God, July gets here, and I'm like, me and Jack is looking at each other like,
nothing's done yet.
We ain't gonna make it, bro. We're gonna lose the shop.
But yeah, that was part of the introduction to becoming someone here at the shop. This is how I became a character in the shop, and that was actually the first car that I worked on.
Yep, and like I said, it turned out amazing. I mean, when we broke that 8-pillar or something was going on with the glass, we couldn't have done that without you. Like,
oh man, no, thank you.
That one, yeah. And even with you, it still took like forever to remove. It was this car, right?
That was after SEMA, though.
Yeah, that was after SEMA, yeah.
So the story behind that is when we were putting the A-pillar trim, like the painted part on the top right there, when we were putting that on, we decided to put panel bond on that. And we both thought,
I think everything is panel bond.
Yeah, we thought it was all panel bond, but the problem was that's not panel bond. That was actually supposed to be urethane. And cutting it back off, let me tell you something. 5 days later, and
I have that video. I'll send that to
gosh.
You to
that was,
it in there.
Dude, that was the hardest thing that we've ever had to do. But now let's talk about what else has happened and how we've gotten to this point where we're at right now.
He's done so many cars in this shop, guys. You just don't know.
Not that many. So once we were finished with the 675 and we got it to SEMA, it was an amazing time. I actually had already planned on going to SEMA that year. So I met up with Freddy just to support him at a booth that he was at where he was giving a speech about a car that he was about to build And that car was this one right here. And this was the actual car that I got called in here to look at and see if it was possible to do in the shop. And this was going to be the first attempt at anything where we had ever had a major hit and something like this. This was the biggest project I think that he's had on his channel where it was collision damaged, that we didn't take it to a body shop. We did everything in-house here with the bare minimal tools. And this car turned out amazing. It looks so good. All of the panels line up as good as Ferrari's panels usually do line up, but this thing came out so nice. We had an amazing time building this car. Starting at the front of the car, we replaced the front structure from the suspension forward. We also replaced the bumper, the hood, the front fenders. We repaired both rocker covers, and we replaced the driver's side quarter panel along with repairing the rear bumper. There was a ton of dents on the car, as well as parts where there was broken welds from the impact. We repaired all of those and got this thing back on the road. And after aligning it, you can see Freddy driving the car. It was an amazing car. It runs and drives absolutely awesome and sounds amazing. The next car we worked on was the Hellcat. This car turned out amazing, and this car was put together in 7 to 10 days. And when I say 7 to 10 days, I mean we actually took apart a 2021 Hellcat Red Eye and transferred every single part to a V6 Charger that was, I believe, a 2016 or 15. I can't remember what year that one was, but now it is essentially a 2021 Charger Hellcat Red Eye. And that thing was absolutely awesome. We did so much work to that car, as you can see here. We cut off the old brackets that the mounting spots were on for the wide body flares on the rear. We repaired a lot of previous damage, and we also stripped every single panel down and put all of those panels into separate little bins and pieces and painted everything individually. This car turned out amazing, and today it still gets driven daily. It has a ton of miles on it, and it's something that is extremely reliable and a cool car, and it still looks as is it did when we finished it. The next car that we worked on was the Mercedes. This car actually had a ton of work done to it as well. We ended up having to replace the fender and both doors and repair the quarter panel. Somebody had done a botched job on this, and if you remember from before, Freddy bought this car and it was completely wrapped. And when they removed the wrap, you could see that the car had had a lot of body work done to it. It had a matte black wrap on it, which hid a lot of the bad body work. But as soon as that was removed, you could actually see how bad it was on white paint. Now let me explain something to you. White hides everything. Black shows everything. So if you want to have a car that has bad bodywork on it and hide stuff, white is the perfect color for that. And we found some very interesting things on this car and put fiberglass on the fender to put strength back in after they cut the bracket off. That was really cool. No, not really good at all. The entire fender had body filler on it. The entire door from top to bottom had body filler on it, as well as the back door, and a lot of body filler on that rear quarter panel. And if you remember what happened when we took all of that off, the shop was completely covered in dust. That was my first experience with a barrel stripper, which I used to take all of the body filler off of this car. But not only did we do that and fix all of the stuff that was wrong with this car, we completely painted the car. So it has a brand new paint job on the entire car. The front and rear bumpers were updated with a newer version of bumper, and the headlights and the taillights as well were upgraded. This car looks amazing. And now this was the third car that we had actually worked on together. Now there's a car that I can't really show you guys too much about because the videos aren't out yet, and we finished this car a little while ago. The problem with that car is that we need to do some mechanical stuff to it, and we've been waiting because we had other projects jump in front of that. And when that video comes out, you will see that this car has had an amazing amount of work, and that is the silver M3 that we showed a long time ago, and we tore it apart, completely rebuilt the car. It has a lot of cool features and options that are on it now. That car is waiting to get finished. That was the fourth car, I believe, that we worked on together. Which brings me to one of the last cars that we have really fully put together and looks amazing. And that is Rex's Mark IV Supra. This has always been a dream car of mine, so watching Rex get this car was an absolute pleasure of mine. I really loved being a part of this. And the funny thing was, is Rex kept coming in during the build process of this, And I was doing small things here and there on this. I didn't do any body work to this car, but I did a lot of putting together and fitting and making things go where they needed to go to make sure that this thing was ready for Rex when we were ready to give it to him, which ended up being the car that we brought to SEMA in 2022. And it looks amazing. It is an amazing color, and I absolutely love this car, and I know he loves it very much. Now, I think this was the last full complete job that we've put together in the last 2 years here while I've been working with Freddy. The next car was my car, and that was a very special car to me. Now, this car here is the car that started Jack Builds It, but it doesn't start there. This car was something that I had been looking at for a very long time. I really wanted to get this car, and I didn't know whether or not I was going to do this over on Freddy's channel or a channel that we were doing together, or whether it would be my own channel. The reason why I decided to start my own channel is because I wanted to show you guys some of the things that I could do. I wanted to display my talents and my skills so that you guys could learn as well and grow from the things that I did. But also, it's a passion of creating things, and I love creating. I love being a creator and being in this space. So it's something that I've been passionate about for a very long time, and video just happened to be one of those things too. So I took the leap, and I spent a year listening to Freddy, asking him questions. He gave me everything that he knew about YouTube and opened up a ton of different things and possibilities to me by letting me work here. And this car here, after I got it, I spent about a month and a half taking it apart, tearing it down, and doing a bunch of cool stuff to it. But that's not where this starts. This starts actually with the GT3. So in comes the GT3. This GT3 originated with Adam LZ. Adam LZ unfortunately got in an accident with this car. Thankfully, everybody was okay. And Matt Armstrong saw this car on Copart and picked it up, and then came over here and started rebuilding this car. And this is where Jack Builds It really got its jump. I actually asked Matt because I knew I was going to be a big portion of this build in helping him with the tub, helping him with the bodywork, and getting the car painted. And I knew in the episode that I was going to be featured in and have a good chunk of the repair done, I asked Matt if he would shout me out in that episode. And in that episode, he shouted me out, and that was when I released my video at the same time he released his, and the channel grew to 20,000 subscribers overnight. It was insane. I couldn't believe it. We had gone from nothing to 20,000 subscribers. I did not have a channel that I was really a part of where I had big speaking portions. I didn't have anything where I was presenting. I wasn't known. I'm an unknown YouTuber that got a chance from my friend, and then another friend of mine came along, and I was able to capitalize on that and start the Jack Builds It channel. It was always a dream of mine to do something like this because I love videoing, I love fixing cars, and I love explaining how to fix cars and giving you guys the inspiration to be able to do it yourselves too. Because guess what? I have not done a lot of the repairs that I've actually done on Freddy's channel. I've never taken parts off of another car and then made them fit and work onto another car where it's like I'm chopping things in half and doing that. I did a lot of body repair. I've done a lot of fixing cars that needed to be put back to OEM spec, but I've never done a lot of the modifications that we've done here like we have on all of the cars that are around. And that was really cool because it gave me the opportunity to be creative, and I love that creative feeling. So now Freddy had been very busy with the P1, and he had been working night and day to find parts as well as assemble the right people to be able to get this car to come together in his vision that he had from the very beginning. And while he was doing those things, he was very busy and he was away. I saw the opportunity and asked if I was able to work on the Evo. Freddy gave me the right to go ahead and do it. He said, "Go for it, bro. I can't wait to see what you do with this car." And that's where things got crazy. That's where I started taking this car completely apart, gutting it down to the bare chassis, and I just started rebuilding this car as if it would be the dream version of what I want my Evo 8 to look like. Which brings me to the ultimate dream and ultimate accomplishment. The channel had gotten to 90,000 subscribers. It was SEMA crunch time. This car wasn't put together yet, and there was so many people that came through and helped me live out the dream of a lifetime. This was something that I had always wanted to accomplish, and we made it. In the last day, we got this car fully assembled, built everything, and put it on a truck and out to Vegas, where I hadn't even seen the wheels yet. I got to display my car in the Koenig wheel booth, and that wasn't without the help of several people. Freddy made this happen, Rex made this happen, Tommy made this happen, Derek and Rita made this happen. We had Jonathan with the powder coat making this happen, and we had Matt from E3 Customs literally doing the insanest interior that I could have ever imagined. And without all of these people, none of this is possible. We got this car together, we cleaned it up, we put it on the truck, we sent it out to Las Vegas, we got the wheels on the car out there in Las Vegas, we put it in the Koenig wheel booth, and I could not believe that I was living my dream. It was an amazing accomplishment that I never thought was going to happen. I was always the bride and never the, I was always the bridesmaid and never the bride. And this time I had finally done it. We had made it. It was such an amazing accomplishment, and I can't thank you guys enough. And the funniest thing about that is my birthday is always right around the time when SEMA is happening. And for my birthday, Freddy decided to reach out to other YouTubers like Chris Fix, Matt, Ed from VinWiki, Tyler, a bunch of other people, and they put up posts for my birthday and said, let's help Jack get to 100,000. So on my birthday, we hit 100,000 subscribers. How awesome is that? It's like a storybook ending to something that I've always wanted. So now it brings me to the topic of the title of this video, and that is, what is going on? Why are we going to see you less? Are you guys not friends anymore? Has something happened? No, it's not true. None of that is true. What has happened is that my best friend has allowed me to start something that has become way more than I thought it would become. And now he's even letting me continue to work on those cars here at the shop. But we are, instead of me being a primary figure in doing a lot of the work on some of the cars, I am stepping to the side, and I'm still going to be consulting and helping, and obviously I'm going to be doing the body work, and whenever I can help, I'm going to be helping. But now I'm going to be able to put all of my attention to the Jack Builds It cars. I'm going to be putting 100% focus now on getting these things finished and ready for SEMA. My goal for the Noble is to have that car done and finished at SEMA. We have the body parts that are being made in the UK. That's going to be a little bit of a tricky thing to get those here and get it on time, but we still have the wiring harness that's finished. We have to get the ECUs in. We have to get the engine started. We have to get the body on the center section all done. The powder coating is done, and because you guys stuck around to the end, I'm going to give you a sneak peek of what that car is going to look like. So what do you think? I love the way this looks, and yeah, it's gonna be purple and gold. It's gonna be an amazing car. I'm super excited about that, and I hope to show you guys this car at SEMA. So now that brings me to the Mark IV Supra. The Mark IV Supra has a ton of parts that are needed to fix this car. And as you saw in that first episode where I introduced the Supra, we needed to get a frame rail. And thanks to our friend Michael, if you're not following him, go check him out, link in the description. We found a rail that we needed, and we found another rail too. So I'm gonna put that other one up for sale if anybody needs that. But the other one that's good is definitely going into my car. And we have a ton more parts. I'm actually about to take a trip somewhere else to find more parts for this car. And I'm super excited. I just wanna say a huge thank you to Freddy, because without Freddy, none of this is possible. You're my boy. If you're watching, I love you, bro. And I just want you to know that from now on out until the wheels fall off, dude, we're doing this together. So I am super stoked. Thank you so much for this opportunity. If you guys like this kind of video, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, go check me out over on Instagram. We're gonna be putting more stuff over there where you can get sneak peeks and behind the scenes stuff. And oh, by the way, I'm launching the second channel as the end of this video. The link is in the description. It's called Jack Sends It. And that's going to be all the other behind the scenes stuff that you don't get to see. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.